Hello, everybody. How you doing? Here we are. I'm live talking about Michael Funk today. So, you guys saw I uploaded 3 videos last night as premieres. I had uploaded them about a year and a half ago, back when I was originally heard about this case. Somebody actually in Wisconsin sent me the footage. They sent me the footage of what actually happened, and then they actually sent me the body cam footage of what was kind of happening afterward, with when you see Hoffer talking to his commanding officer and stuff. So I made those videos, and then I eventually saw the article when Flatoff's trial had concluded or whatever. So I saw that article and I had reported on that. So I made 3 videos, and throughout all of it, there's a huge problem with Hoffer. I mean, and look, don't get me wrong, those of you out there who just real honestly believe they can do no wrong in this kind of situation. Well, I think that needs to be amended a little bit, because you got to remember, this guy was the owner / hostage. He is a higher priority than the police officers themselves. Okay, it is only through a disingenuous characterization of Michael Funk by Hoffer that he construes him to be a suspect and not the owner of the business and a hostage, or was a hostage of the shooter, let's say. Okay, so and it gets deeper, because then you find out that Hoffer had previous contact with Michael Funk, and so he would know who Michael Funk was when he saw him. This is all bad. This is all bad, because this proves that this guy Hoffer, there's something wrong with this guy. There's really something really wrong with him. And I heard from Steve Arato, who was the co-owner of Eagle Nation Cycles, where this all happened. And I heard from him that Hoffer was given an award. Wisconsin gave Hoffer an award. I was like, gee, wow, no shocker there. Wisconsin gave Tom Fassbender and Mark Wiegert an award after what they did to Brendan. So no shock there. Wisconsin likes to give awards to people who do a crap job. So, yeah, sad, truly. So, yeah, so anyway. So it's a it's a difficult situation, because I'm a guy who obviously I have some compassion, sympathy, and awareness of what that kind of situation is and how it is, and like how everybody's all amped up. They're very sensitive, and you know what I mean. The adrenaline's pumping. It's it's a very, very charged situation, and accidents can happen. That part I could understand. That if it were only that I could, and it's kind of begrudgingly, because it's terrible what happened to Mr. Funk. He's a grandfather. Okay, there's a whole lot of his family that had him taken away from them sooner than should have, than needed to be, all because some idiot decided to come down there. And what it was is that idiot had basically sold his bike to somebody, because he had to pay some bail. There was some bail that he had to pay, otherwise he was going to be going to jail or whatever. So he ended up selling the bike to this guy and everything. And the bike was in such bad shape, the guy took it down to Eagle Nation Cycles to have it fixed, to have it worked on, right? And so somehow Flatoff believes somehow that the bike is still his, and he goes down to Eagle Nation Cycles and he's going to demand Michael and Steve give him the bike. And it was it had been taken apart because they were working on it, and he was insisting that they put it back together so he could take it out of there. He had sold it so he could make bail. It's like, and this is what happened. This idiot set all of this in motion, but that idiot laid the ground for the even bigger idiot, Hoffer. Because that guy, I mean, seriously, if it was me and I found out that it was actually one of the hostages and not the target, I would be like, oh shit. You know, I would be like, oh my God. And I would be thinking of things like, oh, well, can we get him picked up and get him to the hospital as soon as possible? Right? That's the way my mind would have went if I found out, right? Well, it turns out that I'm finding out is that Hoffer actually knew. He'd had previous contact with Michael Funk. He knew damn well who Michael Funk was, you know, and everything. And so it's wild. Yeah, he didn't deserve it. And like I said, I could understand if it was just a mistake, but when you see the body cam footage of Hoffer after, when he knows that he's killed the wrong person, but yet he's still happy about it, like he's about to dance a jig. Like he's just happy to have killed something, a person. Like that's what it seems like. It seems like this guy is in this job solely because it gives him the opportunity to kill other human beings. Because he's so happy about it, even though he got the wrong one. It's scary. It's absolutely scary to watch. You know? Well, the article we're going to read today is that we're going to kind of go through today is based on the similarities between some of the corruption with the Michael Funk case and some of the corruption in the Stephen Avery Brendan Dassey cases. So, pull that up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you guys. Okay, so this is an article. Okay, in the Daily Beast. So this is an article about the case, and it's pretty, you know, it's pretty extensive in a way. So we're looking at obviously pictures of Michael Funk here, and so it's called "A Cover-Up Worse Than Making a Murderer." A war has broken out between a Wisconsin town's cops and bikers after police shot and killed a motorcycle shop owner under murky circumstances. And they are very murky circumstances, certainly. On the morning of December 5th, a long-haired felon on a bender woke up at a friend's home in Neenah, Wisconsin, and blasted a gunshot into the wall. It was around 7 a.m. that Saturday, and Brian Fladoff had allegedly been up all night swilling vodka or rum and was still intoxicated. He was so drunk in the wee hours, his female friend said that when he stood, he fell and knocked his head. His friend feared he had a concussion and considered dialing 911. Fladoff darted into his pal's room, waving a .45 caliber pistol, seared with the image of a skull on its grip, before grabbing a pillow and pretending to smother her face. "Really, Brian?" she blurted out. You know I can't handle going back there to prison," Fladoff replied. Fladoff allegedly straddled the woman and started yelling at her. Then he blasted a hole in the wall above her head. She later told cops she probably had gunpowder from the shot on her face. A one-time owner of the local tattoo parlor, the 46-year-old Fladoff, was out on bail for his sixth charge of operating a vehicle while intoxicated, a felony for which he's facing trial in March, court records show. Fladoff announced he was heading to the Eagle Nation Cycles, a Neenah motorcycle shop whose employees, he believed, had helped steal his bike. Fladoff sold his motorcycle and wanted to buy it back. The new owner refused and took the chopper to Eagle Nation for repairs, court papers allege. The friend feared Flatoff was going to pummel someone to retrieve his beloved two-wheeler, she later told police. Still, the biker packed his gun away and assured her he was going to be good. The pal told cops that Flatoff was being reasonable and was going to Eagle Nation to speak like an adult about the motorcycle. Really? With that much alcohol in his system, he's going to speak like an adult? Yeah. Right. Flatoff took off, borrowing her truck, and she fell asleep. But when she woke, her fully loaded MAC-10 machine pistol was gone. I mean, oh my Lord. Okay, look. These allegations detailed in a criminal complaint filed in the Winnebago County and reviewed by the Daily Beast are only the beginning of a case that's under national scrutiny. Flatoff would soon storm the bike shop, take hostages, and spark a harrowing standoff with cops. One that led to the death of Michael M.L. Funk, a 60-year-old grandfather and co-owner of the shop, who was shot by SWAT team officers as he tried to escape from Flatoff's siege. While the Eagle Nation Cycle Biker Club shuns comparisons to Sons of Anarchy, their saga with police contains enough twists and turns for a television script, and the case is far from closed. Some, including Eagle Nation's attorney, Cole White, say officers should have recognized the senior biker when they fired on him. And I believe that's absolutely true, folks, because I've been hearing nothing but the fact that Hoffer had previous contact with Michael, and really should have recognized him out there. Whoops. Oh, man. There I am. Hold on. Let me go back to here. Hello. AC isn't going through with it. However, the commanding officer statements, you shouldn't be here. What if you shot someone, or shoot someone? Right. Wait, what? Guess he didn't. Guess he don't or isn't going to take the chance to redeem himself. Flatoff was sentenced to 100 years. Yeah, William, he dismissed the civil case because they weren't told when to appear. And because they didn't know when to appear, they weren't there that day and it got dismissed. That's the story on their side, at least. So, no, we're not talking about Colburn's civil suit. No. We're talking about the suit that was filed by Michael Funk's wife when this happened, and on behalf of his family and all that, and it was dismissed by Greaseback. We live in a world where law and politics all too often clash, Schoenfield said. When politics trumps law, the end result is injustice. Quote from attorney or for plaintiff. Yeah, well, like I said, if it's acceptable to have officers like Hoffer, it's just that's a scary day for me. That's very scary. I don't like the idea of that at all. He had no remorse, even though he knew he'd done the wrong thing, and he still didn't care. He was happy. He was very pleased with himself. I don't think that guy should be protecting and serving anybody. I think he belongs in a rubber room. I think he enjoys killing. I think he's scary. Let's see. All right, let's go back to the article. All right. After all, Funk had a $50 million lawsuit pending against the police department over a hyper-militarized raid on his business in 2012. In a scathing decision, a federal judge dismissed the case last week, saying White had failed to schedule or appear for depositions before deadline. The judge said White had 4 federal cases in the district that all involved failure to follow the rules. So I'm not sure what that means, if there's an attorney that's dropping the ball here or what, but I intend to ask more about that. Bikers also have security footage of the 2012 raid, which they say was confiscated by police and returned with 20 seconds suspiciously missing. The Daily Beast reviewed a video that shows a cop allegedly finding something, later reported to be marijuana, after the skip. Supporters are even drawing parallels with the Stephen Avery case, which gained international fame with the documentary series Making a Murderer. They claim the injustice system in Neenah needs to be examined as much as the Avery's home of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, about 46 miles away. It goes to speak frankly to the nature of a lot of law enforcement agencies in Wisconsin, which are under the national spotlight as it is, White told the Daily Beast in an interview this month. Now Funk's family, along with his fellow shopkeeper Steve Mad Erato, are demanding cops release body camera and security footage of the 2015 hostage standoff, where dozens of officers from other departments flocked to respond to the shop's call for help. They say the video of the harrowing episode will prove once and for all what happened to Michael Funk. Cops say Funk fled the building and refused orders to drop his weapon, for which he had a concealed carry permit. Arato questions whether responding officers knew who Funk was and if they could have purposely fired on him before leaving him bleeding in the sidewalk for at least an hour until he died. So, and that's the interesting point I'm trying to get at now, folks, is and it's the new thing about this that's got me interested, is because it seems pretty clear that Hoffer had previous contact with Michael Funk and would have recognized him, you know, and with a $50 million lawsuit that was pending because of a raid that Hoffer was originally part of in 2012. But that $50 million lawsuit, I guarantee you, he knew who Michael Funk was. So to claim that he didn't realize that Michael Funk was a hostage and the business owner is just it's just a lie. It's straight up lie. It really is. Lie. Let's see. Who do you call when the cops are the ones that are doing everything? Who do you report it to? Arato 64 said to the Daily Beast. City of Neenah attorney Jim Godlewski said Arato's accusations make no logical sense. He's making some pretty wild allegations. It seems to me he should have some facts to back it up, Godlewski told the Daily Beast. The alleged shooter has absolutely no connection to the city of Neenah, Godlewski said, adding that Funk's death occurred as a direct result of Flatoff's actions. None of this would have occurred had he not did what he's alleged to have done. I mean, yeah, well, duh. I mean, of course, if Flatoff hadn't been a drunk idiot, then this would have never happened. I mean, but anyway, Godlewski, along with the police chief Kevin Wilkinson, declined to comment in detail to the Daily Beast about December 5th standoff. Godlewski said the state's Department of Justice, which is investigating Funk's death, requested they not comment on the hostage standoff pending its report. Per state law, an independent agency such as the DOJ is required to probe police-involved deaths. But for Arato and a growing number of people in Neenah, they say they no longer know if they can trust the local police. People think this don't happen in a small town, Arato added, and they're in for a big surprise. All right, so before we get to the shootout, hello, folks. Whoops. Did he say they were trying to set the cops up that day? Oh, there was something about Hoffer and stuff. They tried to claim that Steve and Michael had tried to set them up for an ambush, when in fact it wasn't. They had planned a little kind of. It was like I believe it was. Steve was telling me it was like a little breakfast thing for some of the young children in the area or whatever, for their parents to come and have, like, I think a pancake breakfast or something like that. And the cops were just going to be there to be like, part of it or whatever. And so they were trying to construe it because Flatoff came in and did what he did. They were now trying to construe it as that 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 Michael and Steve were trying to, bring the cops into a shootout, or into basically a turkey shoot, or a bums rush kind of thing. And it's just like, yeah, there was something about that. So yeah, she's posting the Post Crescent article. Mine is the here. Let me post mine. Here's the one I'm reading from now. Link is an accurate news story on the procedure. Quotes from everyone. Tech and service completely lost. Yeah. Well, if they didn't get to court in time, and their lawyer didn't mess up the case, well, then something happened. Trav. Link is an accurate news story and a procedure. Okay. All right. So it goes on to talk about the shootout. The Nina police got the call just before 9 a.m. A hostage situation was unfolding at Eagle Nation Cycles, which was operated by Arado and Funk. Two Vietnam era vets and two Vietnam vets, actually. When I spoke to Steve, he actually said he was a Vietnam veteran. According to Arado, for years helped diffuse tensions between biker clubs and law enforcement. Flatoff took 3 captives along with Arado, who was hiding downstairs, and demanded they reassemble his motorcycle, which was at the shop for repairs, prosecutors say. Months before, Flatoff hawked his bike to Vance Dalton, an acquaintance, so he could post a $3,000 bail in his pending OWI case. Dalton told a reporter he took the motorcycle to Eagle Nation Cycle because it was trashed. But Flatoff wanted the bike back and demanded the Eagle Nation mechanic Ryan Moderson call up Dalton and get him to the shop, according to the criminal complaint. Moderson quietly told Dalton to call police. Arado was a floor below as the scene escalated. When he entered the area, Funk waved him back downstairs without Flatoff noticing. Moderson told the Appleton Post Crescent that Flatoff, who was a stranger to everyone at the shop, was talking here and there and seemed pretty calm. Then Flatoff allegedly fired a warning shot into the ceiling, prompting Arado to dial 911, and Funk uttered some of his last words. "We know you're serious. We are scared to death." "You ought to be scared," Flatoff allegedly replied, according to prosecutors. Nearly 45 minutes into the hostage-taking, around 9:42 a.m., Nina police came through the shop's back door with one cop repeating, "Police, put down the gun," or "put the gun down." According to the criminal complaint, one Nina lieutenant was advised by dispatch that Flatoff wanted 5 minutes to speak with someone or he'd start shooting hostages. The lieutenant decided to form a hasty team to enter the building. Upon entry, the cop, along with the lead officer, the cop along with the lead officer immediately fell down a stairwell, landing on the cement basement floor, court papers allege. From the floor, the lieutenant saw vapor trails from bullets being fired at the entry team. Another cop returned fire while two officers who fell were moved back outside, prosecutors say. During an exchange of gunfire between Flatoff and the officers, a bullet struck a fire extinguisher and a burst of powdery smoke filled the room. A bullet struck the ballistic helmet of Officer Craig Hoffer, and he yelled, "I'm hit." The officers retreated roughly 1 minute later. Yeah. You got how many guys? And they're retreating. There's one guy, drunk guy, one outrageously drunk man, and they're retreating, running away. Yeah. So the officers retreated 1 minute later at 9:43 a.m., according to the criminal complaint, leaving behind only a Menasha police officer who monitored the back door of Eagle Nation Cycle. He saw Funk barrel past him in an apparent attempt to escape. The Menasha cop claims Funk ran outside and that officers demanded, "Police, show me your hands," or "Police, drop the gun." According to the criminal complaint, Funk ran out the door at 9:46 a.m. The officer said Funk was holding his silver handgun in a manner that caused officers to fear for their safety, and they shot him down, court papers allege. A Winnebago County Sheriff deputy said he saw Funk on the ground in the alley behind the motorcycle shop. He claimed that he watched as deputies in a Bearcat armored vehicle collected the biker's body, and then they left the scene. According to police, deputies transported Funk to an ambulance, which took the grandfather to a medical center where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The criminal complaint doesn't list a time frame of when Funk's body was transported to the hospital, but the biker's family and friends say police are incorrect that Funk was left dying on the sidewalk for more than an hour until Flatoff surrendered to police. Their claims mirror the coroner's statement that Funk was transported via ambulance at 11 a.m. Arado also alleges that he and other hostages were handcuffed and thrown into squad cars after Flatoff surrendered. Okay? They put handcuffs on hostages and threw them in the back of police cars. So what's really happening here? Because there's something beneath the surface. And you can quote Supreme Court precedent to me all you want, Travis, but there's something going on here. And it just has to be proved. Well, there was something about failed depositions, Travis. Well, you'll have to obviously tune in on Saturday, Travis, so you can put your questions to Steve, and he can give you your answers. I don't know that anybody lied in court. It is over and done with. Went through process and it is over. So, all right. Well, there you go. You don't even need to come on Saturday then, I guess, because it's done and over. All right. So back to the article. Funk's daughter, Althea Callahan, rushed to the hospital around 8:50 or 11:50 a.m. A social worker there allegedly told her the active shooter was in the hospital, but they didn't have a name. Her father, Michael Funk, wasn't there unless he was the shooter. She initially felt some relief, believing her dad couldn't have been hurt. It was an honest mistake, Callahan told the Daily Beast. This month, the Post Crescent revealed that contrary to police statements, Funk died at the scene and didn't receive medical care from the ambulance company. A spokesperson for the hospital and ambulance confirmed to the Daily Beast that Funk didn't receive medical care and was never a patient. The ambulance firm Gold Cross said it only transported Funk to Theta Care. Okay, so talking about him getting to the hospital. X-rays, photographing X-rays. So some of the important things here, and obviously Travis is satisfied with what's been going on, but my problem here is that number one, Flat Off had prior knowledge. He knows who Michael Funk is. Okay. If we watch that video of Michael Funk, I see him pointing the weapon at the ground the whole time. So I believe when they say he was doing something with the weapon that made them, that's just a lie. And cops do that. They do. I've been arrested once in my life and read a police report that was just complete fiction because they couldn't actually get me on anything, and I just saw a complete work of fiction, and I've seen it happen, and that's what I imagine probably happened here. Is they all just got together in a room and put their heads together and said, okay, what are we going to say about this? How are we going to answer it? And that's okay. I'm not saying it's okay, but that's accepted, I guess, is the word I want to use in our system. I don't like what Hopper did. I could understand the situation if it was like another officer who actually has a soul, and if they found out that they had shot the wrong person, that they would actually feel some remorse or some pain of angst or over that, possibly not look like they're about ready to dance a jig. No, that guy shouldn't be protecting anybody. That guy needs to not have using a firearm be his job. He needs to have a different job where he doesn't have a firearm in his hand. He just takes a way too much glee in killing. Way too much. Okay? It's interesting on the medical care. Yeah, they left him bleeding for an hour because they couldn't secure the situation. And it's just all this ridiculous crap. But the point is, it's like I said, and I'm gonna be getting all kinds of footage of this stuff. You'll be able to see, Hoffer and Michael actually were face to face and had an exchange. They had a conversation, maybe a highly charged one, or anyway. It wasn't like a howdy do, but they had a conversation with each other 3 months before Hoffer shot him. So, you want to tell me that Hoffer didn't recognize Michael Funk? No. Standard is so high to get around qualified immunity. Those are 9-0 decisions by SCOTUS. I understand what you mean, Travis, but like I said, this is horrible. This is absolutely atrocious what happened here. And when you find out that Nina is actually trying to clean up that area of town, and they actually do want to get Eagle Nation cycles out of there because, anyway. Well, that may be the answer, Travis, is that people in there in Wisconsin need to be aware of this so that they know that they need to vote in new people who are gonna remove, you know, crazies who love killing, who have become part of our police, who are supposed to protect us because they love to kill other human beings. That's yeah, we need to get police chiefs in that want to get those kind of crazy whack jobs out. I don't feel comfortable now. If I'm ever in a hostage situation in Nina, I'm gonna be like, oh great. If I manage to get out of this, you know, frying pan where I'm being held hostage, I know I'll be jumping right in the fire where Officer Hoffer can fill me full of lead and then be given an award and walk off into the sunset. So yeah, I hope the people in Wisconsin wake up. I hope they do. I hope they start voting in people that will put an end to this kind of crap, personally. So yeah, that may be the answer, Travis, but so be it. It's they obviously weren't welcome there. And that's probably where it parallels Stephen Avery a little bit too. They didn't like the Averys, you know? They didn't like them. And that's all it takes, right? They just don't like you. And when it seems like when a county in Wisconsin decides it doesn't like someone, it seems like the state just falls in line with it. Seems like a disastrous policy. But, so I mean, there's just so much stuff. I mean, and obviously we need to ask more questions about the legal stuff, what happened here, and we will. And we'll hear from Steve himself on Saturday, right? So the whole thing about this is that I don't want people to like get me wrong here. I understand that cops can make mistakes in these types of situations. I I get that can happen, but I expect that cop, when that cop finds out that he got the wrong person, that he got one of the people when he actually killed the hostage. See, and that's supposed I don't know. That seems like it should be a no-brainer that should be like, oh boy, I, that's not a good day. We did not come out successful today. We, you know, got one of the good guys essentially, or at least one of the innocents. So to be happy and gleeful about it and ready to dance a jig when you can see the response of the commanding officer, who's obviously realizing, oh boy, this is going to be bad, because he knows, and you can tell he's wishing that somebody would have took him out of the game long back when he was sent back to medical when he got hit in the helmet. And you could tell that commanding officer is wishing that he would have, never been cleared, because he knew the problem of once, because he's like, what if you shoot somebody? And he's like, oh, I did, and he's like all happy, like he's about to dance a jig, right? And you see the commanding officer is just like, oh, I'm sorry, like he's just like, oh my God, like he sees it, he understands it, how bad that is. And to see how Hoffer's acting about it, you can just tell he's like lowers his head and he's like shaking his head and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's crazy to watch, So we're going to be doing a lot of things, folks, here with this case. I'm going to be, putting together some things probably, hopefully this weekend, that'll be being sent to me from these folks I've been talking to. And I'll put together some more clips of some of the footage so you guys can see there's a history between Hoffer and Eagle Nation Cycles and Michael Funk. And so his claims that he, didn't know who it was, or didn't know who Michael Funk was, couldn't tell if he was the shooter or the whatever, bull. It's just bull. He totally knows who Michael Funk was. Like I said, I'm going to be From what I understand, there's a video of Michael Funk and Hoffer actually having a conversation 3 months before this whole incident on December 5th went down. So we're gonna obviously be getting back on. I'm gonna get back on, and me and Travis are gonna have it out about this because I just can't sit here and watch him like raining on my parade over here in the live chat. So everybody know that we're gonna be live with Steve Arado, who's co-owner of Eagle Nation Cycles, on Saturday night. I'm gonna be getting content and stuff from these folks I'm talking to. I'm gonna be putting more videos together to show you the connections where Hofford certainly would have known who Michael Funk was. The claim otherwise is ridiculous. And so no, don't shut up now, Trav, because now you're going to be on a video with me, and you're going to go ahead and comment about all this stuff that you're saying in the live chat. Except you're going to say it for everybody to hear, and we'll talk about it. And then we'll talk about what has to happen to change it, and we'll do all that. I know, right? No good deed goes unpunished, right, Trav? Don't worry about it, buddy. Come on, man. You got this. So, we'll send them over then, dude. Anyways, so when I go to Wisconsin, I'm going to be stopping off in Neenah, and I'll probably be going live from Eagle Nation Cycles, talking with Steve, and that sort of stuff. And so it should be somewhat interesting. Like I said, I'm going to be getting stuff from those people there on the ground in Wisconsin. So should be getting very interesting. Look, I just want people to. The reason why I cover this is, number one, because it just really pains me to see what happened to Michael Funk. Even though I can understand how it happens in that kind of a situation, in that where everybody's, adrenaline's pumping and everybody's heightened, and everything, but still it's sad. It's very sad. But not only that, it shows more law enforcement doing things that just, that just make you shake your head, and just go, what the hell? What's going on here? It's like, anyway, it's like I said, and that dude Hoffer scares me. Okay, he just does. He's a scary human being. Okay, he is way too happy about killing human beings. Even when he finds out it was the wrong one, he's still way happy about it. Totally happy about it. It's just disturbing to see. It's absolute. I mean, I don't want people like that policing me. I don't. Do you? Does anybody out there want people like that policing you? I don't. I certainly don't. So hopefully there's a lot of people out there that agree with me that they don't want people like Hoffer policing them, because he's a bad guy. I'm sorry, but he is. It is political, so vote if you want to change it. Obviously, that's our advice for those in Wisconsin. That's one of the best ways to do something about this, obviously. And that's why they wanted me to talk about this. That's why they've approached me and that sort of stuff. They are absolutely excited to find out that I'm going to be there next month. So they're trying to get exposure on this, and they're trying to get people to understand what happened and how they're feeling like they just got swept under the rug. And so, hopefully we can help. I know the wrecking crew is awesome, so maybe we can help them out. You know what I mean? So, okay, so I just wanted to go live with a little bit tonight, give people some of the article there. I may come back and do a part 2 on it tomorrow night, or I may be talking maybe with Scooby tomorrow night. I don't know yet. We're still waiting to flesh things out. But that's about it for tonight. We're going to go ahead and stop there and really leave kind of the rest of it for when I talk with Steve on Saturday. So everybody be sure to tune in there. I hope we'll see quite a few people tuned in. Look, I understand what Travis is saying, that the law on this and the qualified immunity for police officers and everything, it's a hard shell to crack. And I get that. And so, I mean, and I'm not mad at Travis. It's just, this is what we all need to talk about. It's like I keep saying here on my channel, we got to talk about it. We can't realize and get into dealing with the problems unless we talk about them and become aware of them and make other people aware so that they know to be paying attention for it, right? I mean, how can people know unless people are actually talking about it and creating the conversation and being able to figure out what's what and that sort of stuff, right? So the conversation has to be there. Obviously, Travis's contribution to the conversation is significant. Yes, qualified immunity is difficult, and the Supreme Court law that's going to stand in the way is significant. So that's a valid point, and it's something to be considered. So I ain't mad at Travis. Well, it's like I say, this guy Hoffer, I don't want him protecting me, and I assume a lot of you out there feel like I do, where you don't want this guy protecting you either, right? Because I don't feel protected by that guy. That's not what I feel. If I'm ever there in that area and stuff, I don't feel like I'm being protected by that guy. I feel like I'm in danger around that guy, and that's not a quality you want in your law enforcement. No. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit about this case tonight. Obviously, we'll be talking about it more on Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Everybody be good. We'll see you later. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe and go over and hit subscribe for Stacy. That guy actually he was going to be playing live tonight, but he couldn't stream it on his phone because of the new thing where you have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to stream from your mobile device. So we all missed out on that tonight. It's a bummer. So please, 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 if you haven't, go over and hit subscribe for Stacy. We definitely want to get him to 1,000 subscribers by rally next month. So please go do that. All right, folks. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. For me, Stacy, Allie, Paul, Tracy Struncy, all of them, right? Allie, over the Rubber Ducky, all of them, right? All right. We'll see you guys.